What is up, DG Army? Nethervoid, also known as John, coming back at you this week with another strategy series. And this week, as you can see, I'm doing the Tier 6 Russian TD, the SU-100. Finally, I know people are saying. I've been working on this tank for a long time, and now that 8.0 is out with the new TD line, which you can see here. Well, right there, it splits up. Probably can go here. There you go. See, now that the SU-100 splits off into the old line here, ended at the 268, there's a new line in 8.0 that ends into 263, so I was already getting ready to do the SU-100, but now I really want to do it now that this leads to a new line, and I will be picking up the tank, the Tier 7 from the new line. Anyway, the SU-100 is really a really awesome Tier 6 TD. I mean, out of Tier 6 TDs, I think it's one of the better ones. I think the French one's pretty good too. I actually haven't been able to play that much, but they're very similar. This did have the 107 on it, which made it a really beast tank, but now they took that away. And they might even have an even better gun than that, but I'm not sure. Now it does not have that gun, but it's still really awesome. It still has a couple of good guns, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But this TD is pretty fast and has pretty good maneuverability, but it also has a pretty decent gun and not a lot of armor. So the way you're going to play this tank is you're going to kind of sit behind the line that you're working with and try not to be the guy that's getting shot at, but also be in a position to shoot enemies when they get lit up. In some of the maps that can be kind of difficult. You actually do have to get a little bit close to be able to do that because there's so many ridges and stuff and hills and everything that to be able to shoot down onto an enemy, you have to be fairly close. So that's kind of how you're going to play this tank. Stick right behind the line that you're supporting, and remember you are supporting, and just try not to get spotted. And unlike tier basically 8, 9, and 10 TDs where you're pushing in people's face, you're just going to play behind that line and in a position behind a bush where hopefully you can be an invis tank shooting at people. So that's pretty much how you play this tank. You can also use your mobility to move across the map and get to a part. Like maybe the other side of the map for you guys, for your allies, is falling apart, and you can go support those guys with your mobility. Let's get into some stats here. 580 hit points is pretty standard. It's not that great for tier 6 TD. What I mean is for tier 6 it's not that great. For TD it's pretty standard. 520 engine horsepower, pushing 32 tons is pretty good, and that's where you're going to get that mobility. Obviously it's not 20 to 1, but it is more like 17 to 1, which is really good for power to weight ratio. The speed limit 50, I do get into the 40s a lot in this tank, and you'll see when you play it the mobility is pretty good. Let's make sure I didn't herp derp, and yeah, okay, good. The traverse is really good at 36 for a TD. If you back up and turn and back up against the wall, especially, it can be pretty difficult to circle you. The smaller tanks do have an easier time, but again, 36 is pretty good for a TD. 75 hull armor, not that bad, but really not that great. You're going to get hit every time you get shot at, pretty much. Unless they hit you in the mantlet, which they should not be doing anyway. You're just guaranteed you're going to get hit if you're seen. So that's why you have to play the dangerous game of being close enough to shoot people, but being far enough away to hopefully not be spotted or not be primary target. Let's see. The view range at 350 is pretty decent for tier 6. It's about the same as like the higher tier heavies and stuff like that. It's a little bit lower than them, but it's still pretty good. You could even put binocs on here if you have an extra pair. I didn't have a pair, especially since you're trying to sit back a little bit. If you're kind of by yourself on a line, you're going to want those binocs to get you, up over 400 right here. The radio being 525, not that good. This is actually pretty crappy. But again, since you're kind of sticking close with your allies, it probably won't be that big of a deal. Toward the end of the game, you might have a problem seeing other enemies and other players on the map because your radio range is kind of small. So let's get right into the modules. Like I said, the radio is not that good, upgrading from 325 to 525, and I think you're going to already have this radio. Yeah, 85B right there, so you're already going to have this radio. You do not get an upgrade. But, 525, it's okay. It's not... If you had 325, that's bad. That you're going to have real problems with that radio. But the 525, it's decent. It's not real great, but it's okay. So the tracks, you do get an upgrade from 34 to 36 degrees per second traverse, and that's already pretty good at 34, but it's actually much better, obviously, at 36. So the tonnage increase, I don't think you need that to load the big gun, but let's check. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you don't, since there's no turret. It doesn't say you need the big gun. You need the track. So You don't have to get the tracks. You can go straight for guns, which is really awesome. And a lot of Russians are like that. I don't know. Again, you can call it Russian bias. I think they're the only one of the only races where or nations where almost every one of their tanks you don't need the tracks first. You can go straight for the gun. That's fine, whatever. Okay, so 500 horsepower. That's pretty good engine. Yeah, you're not going to start out with this upgrade, but 500 is pretty good. You're not going to even notice much difference going to 520. Again, get it because it's better, but you're already going to be pretty good with this 500 horsepower engine. With the guns, yeah, you're not going to have this 100 like I have on here. You're going to have this 85 with the SU-85 there. And it's an okay gun at 144 pen, 180 damage. Nice rounds per minute. But the problem really is the 144 pen. It's just not good enough for tier 6. That's kind of what the Jag Panzer has. I'm sorry, the Jag Panzer 4 has like a 132 pen gun. And it's pretty noticeable that it's not good enough. The 175 pen on these two top guns is really awesome. It's all you're ever going to need if you pick out weak spots in the front of people. Again, Russians have great guns. It's no big story or anything. No they have a great gun. You know, it's like not a big surprise or anything. The reason I chose the 100 over the 122 here, even though the damage is significantly different, is because it's the same pen and you're getting quite a bit more DPS, I think. And in case you miss, which can happen if you're trying to get a shot off pretty quick, and these don't have the greatest aim times or accuracy. I mean, the accuracy is pretty bad at .4. That's pretty bad accuracy. So you're definitely going to want to have... Also, if you miss, you can take another shot a lot quicker with this 100, and that's why I picked it for the majority of my play. And I've actually never used the 122. It's probably pretty great with the 390 damage. The problem really is the reload is pretty slow. It's slower than most heavies. I don't really recommend it. It's better on tanks like the 1S where you can flank people, kind of mess around and reload and all that stuff. But with this, you want to get you really don't have a lot of chances to take shots. So if you can take a couple extra shots, that's great. Take them. That's going to get you more DPS. So that's all the modules and stuff. Let's talk about some research. The SU-100 tech tree is pretty easy, and with the 8.0, this is the new tech tree style. And it's a little harder to figure out what you have stock, but here's your stock line. This is what you get when you get the tank if you have nothing else unlocked. You are going to have this radio unlocked, and you will also have the 85 here unlocked. So you can throw both of these on, and the tank's already pretty awesome with just these two items on it. The next thing I would go for is the 100 mil here. You don't need anything else to get it, so go for it right away, and you're going to have your top gun, your 175 pen, 230 damage gun, which is really awesome for this tier 6. After that, I would go for the engine to get your mobility up even a little more, or, you know what, actually I'd go with tracks since the engine doesn't get you a lot. So, the 100, the tracks, the engine, then I would fill the rest out, which is probably the 122, then go down your tank of choice, and that's it for this tech tree. It's actually, now that we're doing research, let's do some equipment. Again, I don't get equipment until tier 7 and above, but I do throw a camo net on all my TDs because they're so cheap, and equipment, half-off equipment weekend just came and went, and so you can get camo nets for 50,000. They're so cheap. Buy a few and just throw them on your TDs. It's really easy. If I was going to go with equipment, I would just get the vent class 2, which will not fit on the larger size of these TDs once you go up the line, but again, it's good for now. The vent and definitely the rammer, and here it is, the rammer, medium caliber rammer. Again, this will only fit on the lower TDs and the medium tanks that you'll have. The larger TDs will need the large caliber rammer, so this won't help you long run. You also might want to get, instead of maybe the rammer, I guess, because if you're using the quick loading gun, the rammer's not going to help you as much. If you're using the longer reload time, the 122, then that rammer is going to help a lot, and it might even be large caliber. I'm not positive. But the Binox is also a good choice, plus 25% view range. Since you're going to be sitting back a little bit and sniping with this thing, the Binox are a pretty good choice. I went with camo net because I want to not be seen, but usually as soon as you shoot, you're seen. I mean, unless you're really far back from bush, when you shoot, you're going to be spotted. So I think the Binox might be a little bit of a better choice, but you can't sit so far back that you're out of view range of a tank, and you can't see that tank because you're perpendicular to the map, and they are just not even you can't even see them, even though they're on radar, which I think is crazy. You should be able to see tanks 700-800 meters out. I don't know why it won't draw tanks that far out, but it doesn't. So anyway, that's equipment. Standard 4 HE, 40 AP, that's pretty much my standard. In a really high pen guns, I'm going with 2 HE or sometimes 0 HE, depending on how many AP rounds I can get. Consumables, tier 5 and 6, I just get one small repair kit in case I get tracked in a weird spot, or I get ammo racked or something like that. 7 and above, I get a full rack of consumables with the fire extinguisher, small repair kit, small heal kit. Now, your crew's going to look a lot like this. I'm not going to transition out of this tank until I have 100% crew, and that way I can start out with a 70% crew when I get into a tier 7. And that's kind of what I recommend for all tier 6s, is just to wait until you get to 100%. You'll probably be in the 90, 91 or something when you unlock the whole thing, all the modules and stuff, but you should hopefully hit 100% before you get to the next tier, which obviously if I'm going for 48,000, I'm going to be at 100% with 37,000 more to go. So that's pretty much what your crew's going to look like, and let's get this thing into some battles. So this is a pretty good game I had on Westfield Assault, and again, it's 8.0, so whoa, 1.0, or 1 times speed. Anyway, I'm getting a lot of Assault and Encounter. It's almost all I get now, and again, I think that's because since I haven't opted out, the pool of people who have not is probably pretty small, and so I tend to get a lot of these. Now, this is actually a new map as well from 8.0 with the Assault version of this map that was not out in 7.5. It's actually a pretty fun map. I had a lot of fun, and you're about to see how I had a lot of fun. Again, remember, this is a support TD, not an assault TD. So I'm going to get up here and kind of post up and support the guys that are coming down the into the JK lines here. Now, I don't play a lot of TDs. I'm actually working on a lot of TDs, but I don't play a lot of them. So I know that might not make sense really, but the point being is I don't know all the cool places to be on the map for TDs. It's kind of like snipers, you know. There's like a couple places on the map that's like, oh my god, there's great sniper spots, and the rest of them suck. When you're playing a quote-unquote sniper, there's a few places on the map that are perfect, and the rest of the places on the map are horrible. So it can be really difficult to find those places. Like, this is not a very... Well, I'm going to try to use this bush, I guess. I don't think this is going to work out. Yeah, see? Can't really shoot anybody from that angle. And 8.0 also changed a lot because these ridges you would not normally be able to drive on in 8. And this was more of a cliff, kind of. Drove up right up to an edge and it fell off. And now it's kind of rounded right here with little dips and stuff. So now, again, always trying to use a bush when I can. Now, being this close to a bush, it's only going to help me for the first shot. After the first shot, I'll be lit up, pretty much. In order to be not lit up when you take a shot, you have to be, if you look at the arrow on my gun sight, about right there. 15 meters away from that bush, so way back here. Now, the problem with that is, if you're looking at this direction, well, I'm not even covered by that bush right now, but you're definitely not covered over there. So it can be kind of tough. Do you want to pick not be seen at all until my first shot, or not be seen by the guy in front of me until my first shot? Obviously, on long, narrow lanes, you know, it's fine to be 15 meters behind a bush. In the spot I'm choosing here, there's many attack angles to this bush, and so I can be spotted from many different angles. Not the greatest spot for a TD, but at least I found a bush. So I'm advancing a little bit because sometimes I'll do that when I'm not spotting anybody. Now, this SU-100 is a perfect target for me. Miss. Again, that's because of the accuracy and the aim time. Accuracy and the aim time. There we go. Hit him and tracked him. Kind of hoping he doesn't use his kit here, and I can't really tell because I couldn't see my tracer if I had a direct hit or not, and he uses track repair kit, or if my shot just went wide, which probably my shot just went wide with the accuracy on this gun. Here's another SU-100. See if we can get a shot on him. Probably not. Shot right before... I hate that. I shot right before he stopped moving. And there's no way I'm going to get a shot on him now. So I'm moving up here to a different bush. Not sure about that KV-1 actually. Okay, now he's dead. Just stay behind my bush. Again, if people can light those guys up on the hill, I can take shots at them. That's kind of what I'm hoping. But none of my team is advancing, and you can't see it here. And again, this is weird that replays do not capture the team comments anymore or the pings on the map. But I'm telling these guys at J&K, hey, you need to move up. This is attack. It's assault. It's not defend. It's get up in there and spot some people so I can shoot them. You know, I can cover you that way. 9 times out of 10, the aggressive team wins the game. That's kind of how Tanks works. And it's, well, it doesn't mean it necessarily like that in real life, but... So I get a good shot on the Chafee here. He's pretty much dead. I don't know why he's not backing up, because I'm tracked. And now he pays the price. So I lost my tracks coming off the hill like that, but it was really nice to be able to get the back shot on that Chafee like that. I'm just getting tag teamed here because I'm probably the only tank they can see. Got 3 or 4 guys probably up in those bushes, the tree line up there. So I'm just waiting for my track to come up. There's no way I'm going to repair if I'm going to die. If you're not sure if you're just about to get 3 shots in the face and die, don't use a repair kit. So now that I'm out of the woods, I'm going to use it on my ammo rack, I bet you. Yep, there we go. So I used my repair kit on my ammo rack. T-3485 trying to come up. Now I'm scouting when my team should be scouting, but that's fine, whatever. Sometimes you have to do what you got to do to win the game. And I have noticed, especially since 8.0, and I'll show you why I've noticed this later when the game's over. But I've noticed that most of my teammates in random battles are pretty bad. They don't know when to scout. They're too chicken to get up in the people's face. And I, as a TD, and this is why I don't play TDs very well, I end up having to take the initiative and become aggressive. And this is not the kind of tank you want to be aggressive in. You know, this is not a heavy tank. So again, here I am being very aggressive, getting shots on the team, not letting the enemy team, not letting them just sit there. My team, I don't know what they're doing. They're barely moving. They should have been moving up this whole time. Instead, they wait for the TD to do the work and start getting taken out because they waited too long. Aha! The Hummel. Bane of my existence. I think he's AFK. Because he doesn't move or anything. He's AFK. That's weird. There's the other SU-100 I shot at earlier. Aw, here we go. PZ4. No big deal. These guys are pretty much crap now. Not scared of those guys at all anymore. Their gun is... If they have the derp, they can't hit me. And if they have the other gun, they're only going to do like 90 damage. Big deal. PZ4 has pretty much been gutted. The M4 is... Sherman is better than the PZ4 now. Bam! You're out of the game. So I've taken out 2 PZ4s, I believe. And the 3045, I think? Doing pretty good. Again, my team, I don't know what they're doing. Get up there. Actually, here's the funny part. A Yog Panther is behind me. Full life. Again, just like the other video I showed you where the Yog Panther waits till the very last second to move in, even though he's got way better armor and he's got full hit points. He's just going to wait till the end of the game to move up. Most people that drive Yog Panthers are chicken. Probably because they had to drive the Jag Panzer IV. And that thing is a horrible tank. Thinking, well, I took the shot anyway, thinking maybe I could kill him. At this point in the game, anything you can do to kill off the enemy is a good thing. So now it's 5 against 3. This should be a no-brainer game right here. Our 150 gets taken out by the couple of guys that are over there. He should have easily been able to take that guy out. He was probably way too aggressive. One thing about having a very, very awesome tank like the T-150 and outclass everybody you go up against, because the T-150 is basically the best tier 6 in the game, is you play stupid. You don't learn how to play the game very well, and you end up doing stupid moves and being way too aggressive. When if you were just a little more patient, you could probably kill off 3 or 4 enemies, but instead, you just charge in there like you're, you know, king crap and you get killed. Now the Jag Panther doesn't really know what he's doing here. Well, I guess they're trying to cap, because we only got a minute left. T-20, I don't know what he was doing the whole game. He really should have wiped up like half the people in this game. The Jag Panther should have been hiding behind these supplies. So I'm thinking, okay, he's dead now. No, I'll hide behind him. No problem. It's going to be hard to shoot me. I got a pretty low profile. This tank does have a very low profile, which is awesome. Here's the 100 M1. This is one of the new tanks out of 8.0. It's supposed to be faster and have less armor, but apparently not, because the 175 pen on the front plate did not go through. Again, pen no damage, and I'm dead. Now, I did have a good game, and I'm going to show you the end plates. Hold on a second. With 8.0, you have to show them after the fact, so hold on. So here's the end plate to that game, and it's 690 XP for a loss. It's pretty awesome. 25,000 credits. It's very good. Killed 3, damaged a bunch of guys. Here's one thing I like to do is I get on here and I say, okay, who got the most XP? And I'm finding out I get the most XP in a lot of the games I play. 3 kills, lots of credits, 16,000 credits in this tank. This was a great game. Let's get another one. Here's another great game I had, this time on steps and encounter. And again, like I said, you can see I'm getting a lot of encounter and assault battles. This one is known though. This is a 7.5 map and game mode here. So the best way to do this map is to route the enemy from the back, which is what I'm going to support here. One thing again about this tank is since you're not so overpowering, you really have to rely on your team to at least be fairly good at the game in order to get the victory. When I've noticed in Tier 6 games, you cannot depend on your team at all, really. My team screwed it up a lot for me, and I end up with 3 or 4 kills in a lot of games, and we still lose. And it's very frustrating to have that happen to you over and over again. But in this game, for some reason, this tank, for some reason, it was really hard to get games where we won and I survived the entire battle. Because this tank is so soft, I would win a lot, but well, not a lot, but the hard part was staying alive the entire game. So, I mean, you can stay alive pretty easy in a game you're going to win by not engaging the enemy, not shooting at people, not getting damage. If it's your 2 times, you're probably not going to get a lot of XP for that. I don't like doing that. I'd much rather be a little bit more aggressive and maybe die and help us get the win than just sit back and never take any shots or never spot anybody and stuff like that. You don't get a lot of credits and XP for playing that way. So there's a E8 and an SU-100 and a Matilda, one of the new 8.0 tanks, Matilda Black Prince, a new gold tank. If you have that tank, please send me some replays. I need some Matilda Black Prince replays. Getting a shot on the M4 with another tank. I'm pretty sure that was not all my damage. M4 is dead. Boom in your face. Now here's a great position. I'm helping my buddies out here. Again, a PZ4. Can't even hit me. I just took off half of his life right there in one shot. He also does not have a good gun to try to get me to get out of there. Black Prince, you're dead. Not a great tank as far as I've seen, but again, is it tier 5 or 6? Tier 5, so what do you expect? PZ4 getting out of there because PZ4s are pretty much crap now. Cannot really do much. So we're kind of swarming them here. Now, on this map and encounter, as soon as your team has this side, watch the mini-map very closely for the flag, because the enemy has probably sent some guys over there and they're capping. So right when we have the upper hand here, we got lots of guys supporting, I'm out of there. I'm going to go support the cap, because I've seen it time and time again on this map in encounter mode. My team's winning, I've got plenty of kills, everybody's got kills, we've wiped off this whole other side, the southeast or southwest side of this map, and the enemy caps and they win. And they're down 5 tanks, and they still win. And that's because we focus too much on routing the enemy. On some map, on every encounter mode has a different style of play and a different ratio of how much you should backhack. I call it backhacking the enemy. If you're a PlanetSide player, you know what backhacking is. Anyway, going at the backside of the enemy like that, and also balancing that with going after the cap. A notoriously mismanaged encounter map is what's that map that's like one of the newbie maps? It's the one with all city. It's an all city map. I can't remember the name of it, but in the encounter mode, you both start on the hill. Now, you guys should both go after each other on the hill, but you can't spend too much time up there because it's really hard to get to the cap. It takes a long time. And so if you wait too long, the enemy can send 3 tanks there and cap before you can even get off the hill. Put it in the comments which map that I'm talking about and help me out, guys. So here I'm rolling up on the cap. Got a Churchill in the cap, and I think another guy. Yeah, 3601. 2 great tanks to have in the cap. Our KV1s, I think he gets tracked right here, sitting out there in the open. I take the chance now that they're not aiming at me. Shoot that Churchill right in the turret. So again, you have to just kind of pick your shots. Get in a nice hold down position on this 3601. Did not get damage on him though. Too bad. We did reset the cap, and that's really the main thing. Help let our buddies get over here. Side of the turret. 3601 has some good armor. Now I'm going to take my this opportunity to move in on the Churchill. He's not aiming at me or even paying attention. Boom, he's dead. Pay attention to TDs, guys. They're crafty. I mean, if they're good players, they're crafty. The KV-2 with the derp, that could have changed this whole game if he was playing correctly, which is not out in the open. He needs to be hiding. He's not even in the cap. I'll keep shooting him, though. See how I'm getting a consistent almost 200 damage? And I'm aiming at weak spots, but I don't have to be so precise because I have such high pen. With the lower pen guns, you have to be more precise. Now, game over, 4 kills. Let's look at the end plate. Pretty easy mop up for us, and let's go to the end plate. So here's the end plate for the plate we just saw, the game we just saw. 4 kills, lots of damage on people, lots of spotting while people are getting damaged. That gets you a lot of XP and stuff, as you can see. Really nice game here. Again, I like to sort the XP. I was almost at the top, but that E8 was a really good player and got 5 kills, got a little more XP than me. The detailed report does show how many shots I got off on people. 9 out of 11, pretty good. Lots of enemies damaged. How far you've traveled in the game. Lots of credits. I made 22,000 on this map. This is a pretty good credit earner if you know how to play it right. 1,100 point game. Great game. So tell me what you think about this tank, and I'll see you later.